What is up, ALIENARMy? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore, and today our esoteric topic is going to be a channeled chit-chat session, so there's not going to be anything that you really need to look at on the screen. So if you just want to veg out, relax, listen to this while you're cooking or cleaning or going to sleep. I have my quote-unquote radio voice on, so I'm not going to be being loud and crazy in this transmission, just because it is more of like a relaxing style video. And if you guys watch a lot of my videos, you know that my natural voice is not very relaxed. It's very excitable. So that being said, let's get into this topic, which is going to be what's currently going on right now with this Saturn into Aquarius transit. And this is a very interesting thing that I channeled. Okay, so first off, Saturn stays in each sign for roughly like 2.5 years about. Okay, don't quote me on that, but roughly. And so when Saturn is going to transition into Aquarius on, different sites say different things. One said March 21st, another one said March 23rd. So I don't want to tell you exactly, but I mean, I will check my astrology software and, update it in the description box once I see on my software that it officially transitions into Aquarius. But as some of you may know, Saturn is the natal governor of the sign of Capricorn, and he was in his home sign for the past roughly 2.5 years. And I say roughly because Saturn does go retrograde. He will be going retrograde again back into Capricorn sometime in July of 2020 for a few months, and then he's going to just go direct into Aquarius again. So this Saturn in Aquarius transit is going to last until 2023. Okay, so if you just wanted some mathematics about that. But being that Saturn was in Capricorn, his quote-unquote home base, for the past few years, the sign of Capricorn is very much about wealth and finance and building for the future and corporations and businesses and monetary progress, so to speak. Okay, it's not really centered on any type of individual or individuality or any type of human expression. Okay, it's more centered on the expression that someone makes, like their legacy that they leave in the physical domain. Okay, so let's say if someone starts a business and then their business goes on and on, like let's say for example we'll use like JP Morgan. Okay, this person left his legacy, and it's not really about the person. You more remember JP Morgan as being a bank. Okay, it's not really about him as an individual, just to give an example. So with Saturn transiting from Capricorn into Aquarius, now we have more focus on the Aquarian traits. Okay, because now we're talking about the 11th house, because Capricorn and Saturn are the 10th house, the house of public material realm recognition and legacy and status. And the 11th house is all about groups of people, and it's about humanitarianism, and it's about organizations with like-minded individuals joining together to kind of form their own group. And it's more about like a group mentality, with each individual expressing themselves within the group as their own entity. Okay, it's not really structured and orderly the way that the 10th house is, right? Because Saturn likes things very structured and orderly. So this carries on over into 10th house characteristics and Capricorn characteristics, right? So Now, Saturn transiting into Aquarius, there's still going to be structure and order and discipline during this transit, because we are dealing with Saturn, and Saturn highlights, he pretty much highlights the areas where we need to discipline ourselves. Okay, so Saturn is going to be highlighting and helping us discipline ourselves in areas of 11th house Aquarian matters. Okay, and as I said, it's like the group as a whole. It's humanitarianism. It's about innovative expression. It's about new thoughts, new ideas. It's not about the tried and true, oh, this works in the material realm, it's worked for hundreds of years, so it must continue to work. No, that is totally not what Saturn in Aquarius is about. Saturn in Aquarius is going to be organizing and solidifying the traits of the 11th house and the traits of Aquarius, which are all about personal freedom and utilizing intuition and more of an intuitive approach rather than a logical one, although logic is still present with the sign of Aquarius, but this is still, it's moving more towards intuition superseding logic in some instances, whereas with Capricorn, there'll be little regard for intuition. It'll just be like, well, this is the formula, this is how it works, boom boom boom, set in stone kind of deal, right? With the Saturn in Aquarius, it's going to be more like, I have this idea, I don't know what it means. I mean, I never had this idea before, no one else is doing it, but you know what, let me try it. Let me logically implement this idea, this bolt of inspiration that I just received. Let me try to break it down into the material plane so that it makes sense. Okay, it's more about organizing intuition into a logical process which can yield material realm results. Okay, and another thing with Saturn in Aquarius, okay, this is going to really be focused on people, humans, individuals, okay, rather than a structured system which is in regard to like money or finance or banking systems or things like that. Okay, so when I went into this the Saturn in Aquarius transit, I'm seeing that if wherever you're at in your evolution, that's where you are. But to me, this is saying that the general message is that if you did not believe that the age of Aquarius was here yet, well, guess what? It's here now, right? So it's here now because this is Saturn, right? He's ordered, he's structurally, he likes to focus on tunnel vision, on traits to succeed, right? So we're bringing these all these characteristics, this tunnel vision, to the traits of Aquarius now, and this is going to solidify the age of Aquarius on planet Earth. And I'm sure you know about the age of Aquarius. I mean, if you're looking at a video like this, I'm sure you're familiar, but the message I received is that it is really here now, because Saturn is stabilizing the energy of Aquarius here in the physical domain, on the material realm, on the material plane, I should say. And this focus of Saturn on these Aquarian traits is actually going to help embed these Aquarian 11th house qualities and characteristics within planet Earth and the collective consciousness of those who dwell on planet Earth, okay? Because when one is in a physical body on planet Earth and they are resonating, at a human frequency. If someone is in a human suit, they are resonating at a human frequency. So they're going to be tapped into all of the qualities of their their collective counterparts, so to speak. Okay, so this is about the masses, and Saturn is really focusing on the masses as individuals, okay, because it's narrowing down. It's saying now is the time for everyone to really hunker down and solidify who they are in their universe here on planet Earth, right? This is not saying that, oh, you should concentrate on building your legacy, your job, anything to do with the Capricorn characteristics, right? This is saying you've done all that has passed, okay? Now it's time for a new age. It's time for a new age where you get to express yourself and you get to solidify who you are and show everyone your own uniqueness, okay? So this Saturn going into Aquarius, it's very interesting because at the time that I am sitting down to record this video, there is a lot of interesting things going on planet Earth, okay? And it's March 21st, 2020, so I'm sure you know what's going on, right? So this is really just, to me, this is more... this is more proof. I don't know if that's the best word, but this is a candid video, so I'm just going to say proof because nothing else comes to mind. This is more proof to me that old, outdated ways of doing things in society are really going through a massive cleansing throughout the collective consciousness here on planet Earth. And once these Aquarian water-bearing Aquarian water-bearing water, I don't know what else I would call it, okay, but once this Aquarian water has rinsed away and cleansed all of the old paradigms that were more centered around monetary gains or business entrapments or focusing more on the organization and not on the individual, these Aquarian waters are essentially cleansing the earth of that right now, okay, making way for the new age of Aquarius. And this is essentially what's going on, okay? And the collective consciousness, okay, a lot of times when they are confronted with change, whether it's change that they want, change that they don't want, the initial instinct for a human suit wearing individual is to flee, to turn away from it, to rebel against it, like just because it's so totally new and out there. They've never been really presented with something that I always call quote unquote alien to them, because when you change, right, you do that 180 from one thing to another thing, in a human suit, that it's going to activate the reptilian and mammalian monkey mind, as I like to call it, and it's going to say, no, but this is not familiar, this is uncharted territory, I must leave, I must rebel, I must not accept it, right? So that can cause a lot of fear and anxiety and stress within the psyche of someone who is donning a human suit, okay? So I see a lot of this going on right now, and it really, as I said, for me, it just authenticates, it solidifies that yes, this is the age of Aquarius, okay? So it's here, it's now. So if you had any doubts, it is here now. And I knew that this was coming. I pretty much felt this maybe from like 2000, definitely from 2012, okay? 2012 was a year that there was a lot of massive awakening, okay, going on as well. But here, this Saturn in Aquarius, 2020, this is it, because Saturn is now utilizing the traits of Saturn, which are saying, you must discipline yourself if you want to succeed, of course, right? And that's not a bad thing, but it is saying discipline yourself in your own unique individuality, express yourself, be true to you. Don't let a quote unquote corporation or a paycheck or a boss or any type of the tried and true social structure of monetary influence, don't let that paint your picture, paint your own picture, see yourself as an individual who you want to be. Think of your comrades here on earth in a human suit. Think of them as your friends. They are just expressions of you, right? Because everyone is a reflection of everyone else, okay? So a stereotypical characteristic of the sign of Aquarius is friendliness, right? And it's more of like, it's not focused on what can this person do for me, where do they work, what kind of car do they drive. It's not really about that material pursuit of expression the way 10th house in Capricorn would be. It's more about, well, how do they treat me? Are they good to me? Are they good to animals? Are they good to other people? Like, how are they interacting with everyone else, right? It's not really about what do they do for a living, okay? It's more about focusing on them as a unique individual. Now, I don't know how many times I'm going to say unique or individual or anything like that. So, like I always say, take a shot when you hear me say one of those words. You'll be feeling nice by the end of this video. I don't want to digress too much further, but so if you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying when I'm channeling this information, and a lot of it is just coming through now, so it might be a little disorganized and scattered, but the age of Aquarius with the Saturn transiting into Aquarius, this is going to bring about a great awakening, a great enlightenment, a great illumination on planet Earth. And the reason why there might be a lot of lower vibrational energy, fear-based emotions in the collective right now is because, those in a human suit, they are trying to rebel against things that they do not know. So when things that they quote unquote counted on as being the norm are really, it's kind of just like, well, guess what? It's not normal anymore, right? Like, things are changing, and change does not mean bad, okay? Change just simply means that there's going to be a difference in the way you view things, how things are run, and basically a general shift in the way things are being orchestrated on planet Earth, okay? It's going to shift from a monetary type of influence where big corporations and I keep going back to the word banking systems, like all of that type of material realm, that status type of energy. It's shifting away from the importance of that towards the importance of being happy with yourself, being at one with yourself, and being satisfied with where you are. So this is not to say that, like you can't have, shiny things or fancy cars or, I don't know, 7-figure salary, right? Like, you can still have those things, right? But you're going to acquire those things based not really on like the tunnel vision effort of trying to please someone else in a corporation. You're gonna acquire these things by being you, by being unique, right? You can still have those material things, everything that you ever wanted. In a human suit, it's natural to gravitate towards things that we fancy with our physical eyes, right? Things that we like to look at, things that, but it's not going to be acquiring them through that blood, sweat, and tears type of mentality. It's going to be acquiring them from being more from an inner happiness, which leads you to a field that you are going to be getting paid currency for doing what you love and showcasing your own unique and special talents, okay? It's going to move away from an unsatisfactory type of, well, this person had all of this material wealth and, they died alone in their room with like $6 million under their mattress, right? This is going to be more like this person had $80 million, to their name, and they, they're living their life happy with their friends and family and their loved ones, and they're sharing all of their joyful experiences. They're sharing their monetary gains with those who are loved ones, because it's not so much about the institution of money or business or material goals. The material goals are still there, but it has elevated from the 10th house to the 11th house spectrum. So now we can see past the 10th house. Okay, we see past that. Yeah, material things are nice, they're great, like no one wants to stop you from getting nice material things, but if there's no happiness or a sense of belonging with those things, and I mean a sense of belonging with, like, your fellow human suit comrades, right? If there's no sense of belonging, then what do they really mean? They're just dusty, sometimes crusty objects that, they're just sitting there gathering cobwebs and whatever, right? So this is more about showcasing one's unique talents and incorporating others as their friend into their group, not as their competitor. Okay, because 10th house situations can be more of like a competitive edge, right? But this is like, what, like, you're cool with me, I'm cool with you, like, let's do this together. It's more like a group effort, okay? And it's more like, if you want to work hard to achieve material realm goals, you can certainly do that, but it's going to be more in an environment where you're really, like, you're vibing out with whatever crew you're with, like you're having a good time and you're enjoying the social aspect of it, okay? And this is more about sharing ideas and utilizing intuition rather than following, a set in stone blueprint, okay? This is where you have we want to use the quote unquote mad scientist analogy, right? Like, this is someone who they know that their idea is going to work because they saw it work, they had a vision of it working, but they haven't figured out yet how to formulate it perfectly in the physical realm. And that's essentially what they're doing. They're like fine-tuning their intuitive thoughts into something with physical sustenance and physical value, okay? So this is more about following your intuition and knowing that the societal structure with this age of Aquarius coming in is going to shift, okay, from a business standpoint to more of like a camaraderie standpoint, okay? So there's still gonna be, business structures, but they're not gonna hold as much status with the masses. The masses are going to be more concerned with their own happiness, their own, how are they getting along with the people in their circle and things like that, like how their neighbors are interacting with them. It's going to be more of I don't want to say hippie vibe, but again, candid reading, so for lack of a better word, I'd say more of that type of vibe, like, listen, they're not bothering me, I'm not bothering them. Hey, do you want to work together? Okay, cool. Do you like this idea? All right, I like it too. Like, let's do something with this, right? It's not about, I have to send out my resume to 17 places today, and if no one calls me back, then I have to send out 20 more tomorrow. It's not going to be that frenzied rush to acquire material success or legacy. It's being more of a laid back attitude, and utilizing intuition is going to actually guide you faster to your goals, because now it's like you're in touch with your intuition. And as I said, that Aquarian water bearer has really cleansed the way out of the old paradigm of just thinking that everything has to be done one way and it has to be done the way that it's always been done, right? This is more about, I guess, quote unquote, rebelling against the machine and doing things your way, because when you do things your way, it just turns out better, it turns out easier, because you know yourself better than anyone. You know how you work better than anyone. You know how you play better than anyone. You know how you dance better than anyone. Well, maybe not better than anyone, but you know what I mean? You know you're jiving and you're vibing with yourself, and you know how you operate better than anyone else. So it's not like we're gonna have like the proverbial boss come in and say, shut that music off, or there is no smoking in here, or whatever the case, right? It's more about like going at your own pace, working how you want to work. And I see society, this is like a turning point of that. Like a lot of individuals in the masses, in the collective consciousness, are just, the quote unquote old ways of doing things are just, they're not going to work anymore. They're not going to hold as much value. More value is going to be placed upon their interactions with their, I keep saying comrades, and their groups. And it's going to be more about the betterment of the whole, individual by individual. Okay, so that's really what I'm seeing for this this mass awakening. Like the age of Aquarius is here, and we're transitioning from one way of kind of being on the planet to another way of being on the planet. And this is really a global shift. This is why all great changes are typically preceded by what appears to be chaos, but then in the end it's like, well, there's no end, but you know what I mean. But then once things kind of like calm down, you're like, oh, you're like, that's why all that had to happen, right? Because something had to shake you to wake you, essentially. Okay, so I don't want to get this too long, but hopefully those who are meant to find resonance here with these messages found them well. So yeah, very exciting time for us. Age of Aquarius, it is now. It's here. Okay, so it's party time. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. I mean, you could pop open a beer. Okay, even if you're at home in front of Netflix. Well, I guess you're technically in front of YouTube right now if you're watching my video or listening to it, but pop open a beer, pop open a sparkling water if that's what you want to do. But good times are ahead. Okay, it's just that the collective consciousness, the masses are shifting from the paradigm of business and structure and organization and monetary systems and material like prudence. It's shifting to more of like an individualistic, innovative, more intuitive vibe where people are actually going to become friendlier towards each other. There's more like, well, this is a reflection of me, so how am I behaving? And when you follow your intuition, you are going to come across those who are vibrating at your level. When you're at that high vibe state, those are the type of individuals that you are going to encounter. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I am Oculus, the alien next door. That was today's esoteric chit chat. Peace, good vibes. We'll chit chat again soon. And namaste. Blessed because you are.